Hey, Edible Lab here. Just a short video. Just going to show sort of a final video for the vegetable garden, how it performed, and the main thing is I'm going to harvest these peanuts. I tried growing peanuts for the first time. I bought a few. These were seedling plants from Daly's nursery. I didn't grow them from seed myself. I wasn't able to buy seeds, so this is the best I could get. And I've been growing them maybe since October. Yeah, well, since October. I think I planted them in the ground in late October, which was maybe a bit late. But one of the plants died and I harvested it. It only had one peanut, but I'm going to harvest the rest and see how many peanuts you can get. Peanuts, obviously, not originally from temperate climates. But I just wanted to do an experiment to see how they would perform in my climate. But the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to dig it up and see how many peanuts that we get. Oh, look, there's already a few on there. There's 4. I'll count them all up in the end, but they sort of are growing, they grow on these sort of runners along the ground. You get a few under the main plant, and then, oh, see, look, if I dig more, there's some other ones. So we might get, somewhat of a harvest. But not many people know, but peanuts grow in the ground. It's quite deep in there. They're also, as the name suggests, pea. They're in the pea family, so they fix nitrogen into the soil. So they're actually really good. And I'm going to try saving some seeds, but whether that is successful or not, I don't have that much time. Remains to be seen. But I'll show pulling up the other plants, and then we'll count out what the harvest was at the end. Alright, plant number 2 in amongst the marigolds. This one's starting to die off, which could be a good or a bad sign. Grub in there. That's massive. That's probably been eating the, some of them. Leave that out for the birds. There's still actually quite a few in here. Hopefully not too eaten. And, I didn't give them an ideal soil. They prefer quite a more sandy soil. This is literally just, bagged garden soil from the home, your Home Depot hardware store, home center store. But I'll get these ones off and we'll move to the last one. And now for the last plant, which actually is the most impressive of them all. It definitely grew the most, so I guess I can expect the most out of it. Soil's quite moist though. We've had a little bit of rain, so it's not an ideal time to harvest it. But because I'm about to go overseas, it's just a good time for me to harvest it, or really it's now or never for me. So that's why I'm doing this. But it is probably about the time you would want to harvest the peanuts. They're an annual and they don't survive the winter, but they do need a long, warm growing season. So I think somewhere like Sydney could work quite well. I mean, this is just from 3 plants. I had 4, one of them died, but from 3 plants. But I imagine if you had enough seeds, and I don't know if I'll be able to properly save these seeds. But if I grow them again in future, I'll try to. But if you had enough plants, like if you grew them in rows, then I imagine you could get a decent harvest. Already we can see this one has quite a few, at least half a dozen. So I'll get them off and we'll count it up. As an interesting aside, I thought it might be cool to show. Obviously there's little bits of perlite that were in the original potting mix, but these sort of bumps here, these are supposedly, it's not a fertilizer. These are supposedly the nodules which are how it works to fix nitrogen into the soil. So I think these are the sort of nodules it develops, which then interact with the mycorrhiza, the fungi in the soil to fix the nitrogen in. Look, it's got all of this. You can see it's actually, yeah, like a fleshy part of the actual peanut. They're quite hard, but just thought that's cool to show off. Alright, so after the harvest, we'll finish off by showing this is how many peanuts I got from 3 peanut plants only. After about, 6 months or so. It's now the end of April, so yeah, it's about 6 months. So if we count it up, some of them are, you can see, are not fully formed. But, I mean, I imagine this has a viable seed in it. Once they get this sort of net-like pattern, you know, just looks like your regular store-bought peanut. Except these are fresh. So what, we got 4 there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. And this one, well, I won't count him. He's not really... Yeah, now some of these, honestly, are not... This is not fully developed, you can see. I think it was still growing. It's only half developed. So if we take out the few that are not fully developed, then maybe we have around 32 peanuts. So roughly, you know, 10, maybe 10 to 12 peanuts, fully developed peanuts, per plant. So that's not a bad yield, and I mean, most of these peanuts have, some of them are small and maybe only have 1 seed like that. But, you know, this guy will have at least 2. Most of them will have 2 seeds. So then you got about an average of, you know, 50 seeds. You wouldn't really be able to make peanut butter, but it'd make a few meals, probably. Or, and that's only from 3 plants, and, you know, that's grown somewhat suboptimally in a home garden. If you actually planted out a whole bed of them, I imagine you'd get hundreds, if not thousands, of peanuts. And you got your timing right. I think you really got to get in there quick when the weather starts warming up, and yeah, I think the time to harvest is, probably around now. After doing research online, you sort of have to, unless you're going to boil them fresh and eat them, you sort of have to let them dry and cure if you're going to save them for seeds. So I'll try and dry these out, but I'm not sure if they'll last in the long term. Like I mentioned in my garden tour, I'm going to be overseas for an extended period of time and won't be able to sort of sow these even in the next spring, probably. So I don't know what will happen, but I'll try and save them, and if I can sow them again maybe the next year, we'll see. But otherwise, that was my experiment growing peanuts in Sydney, Australia, just to show it can be done. I already knew of people growing it, and that's what gave me the idea in the first place, but I just wanted to, you know, do it for myself and see how it went. And I think I can say it was a success. But that's all for now. And I guess see you in the next one, whenever that may be.